Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Hi guys, this is Carolinadime, Epiphany of Change. I am Dr. Rogers, coming to you today with another episode of Sunday Table Talk. That's right, people, Sunday Table Talk. Before we get started with any discussions today, I want to remind you guys to hit that like button on your way in. And if you forget to hit it on your way in, then hit it on your way out, in or out. After you get finished hitting that like button, if you like what you saw in the video, please make sure that you share the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to share the video again and leave your comments, because you guys know I love reading your comments. So with that being said, let's get started. So we're always looking for some type of inspiration, especially on Sundays. So one of the things that I came across this morning was a message from Bishop T.D. Jakes. And that message touched on associating with the wrong crowd. So what we're going to be looking at today, and basically the topic of this video, is going to be associating with the wrong crowd can lead to destruction. Let me repeat that. Associating with the wrong crowd can lead to destruction. So I'm going to show you guys a quick snippet of the teachings of Bishop T.D. Jakes that I ran across, well, a part of what I ran across this morning, and then we'll come back with the discussion.
Everybody have herds. Rich folks have herds. Poor folks have herds. Hip-hop artists have herds. Preachers have herds, doctors have herds, lawyers have, everybody got herds. Black folks got herds, white folks got, everybody got herds. But you gotta be careful, because a herd will run you into destruction. You remember when the demons got in the pigs? And the Bible says that the herd ran into the water and drowned? Following the herd will get you killed. Following the herd will get you shot before you're 30. Following the herd will end your life before it begins. Following the herd will make you hurt people. Not because you're a bad person, but belonging to the herd becomes more important than using your common sense.
Woo. Man, listen. So the title of Bishop Jakes' teachings today was "Don't Run with the Herd." And like I said, what I'm going to speak on today, which actually comes from his teachings, I don't want it to seem as if I'm taking credit for anything that he taught today, but I'm going to stay stuck on a topic that he mentioned in a tweet today, and that was associating with the wrong crowd could lead to destruction. There's a saying that says, you will only be as great as the people that you surround yourself with, the people that you associate with. So be brave enough to let those go that tend to hold you down. That's what we mean when we talk about associating with the wrong crowd. The people that you hang with, you're not equally yoked. Your differences are far more greater than your similarities, not meaning that you have to think, act, and be the same on most things, but there should be some commonalities, some common ground in what you believe in, what your morals are, that moral fiber that makes you who you are. There should be some type of connection with the people that you are surrounding yourself with. So I'm going to go over really quick 7 things. 7 things that will let you know that not only are you in a toxic situation, but you may not be associating yourself, surrounding yourself with the right people. Remembering that associating with the wrong crowd could lead to destruction. So the first thing, if you have someone around you that is constantly reminding you of what you can't do, telling you that you can't do, telling you how you need to do things, telling you how you need to say things, they always have something negative to say, even if it's in a joke. That's one of the things that you need to look out for, because it really only takes a few negative comments to kill a person's dreams, to make them second guess themselves. So if someone is telling you that you have to do things the way that they said it because your way isn't good enough, then that is something that you need to look out for in the people that you associate yourself with, or the people that you surround yourself with. Second thing, the people that you associate with, they don't really support who you are. They want you to be the person that they want you to be. They want you to march to the beat of their drum. They want to change some things about you, even if, again, it just means doing the things that the way that they want you to do them. That control thing that we keep talking about. If you can't be true to yourself around the people that you associate yourself with, then there's something wrong with that picture. You shouldn't have to change the person that you are in order for you to fit in to a particular group or for you to be around a particular person. So that's the second thing that you need to think about. Third thing, they only respect you when you live their way. They only respect you when you live their way. So, and I'm going to read something really quick. It takes a great deal of courage to stand up to your enemies, but just as much courage to stand up to the people that are closest to you. Sometimes bullying comes from the most unlikely places. Be conscious of the people in your closest social circles. Be conscious of how they treat you, and look out for the jabs that they may throw at you. If necessary, then you confront them. But you do whatever you need to do so that you will be able to live your life as authentic as possible. You should always be authentically you. And if being authentically you does not jive with what they have going on, and they only want you to do the things the way that they want you to do them, the way that they choose to do them, they want to tell you how to live your life, that's a toxic situation. Be careful who you are associating yourself with. Number 4, they create and thrive on negativity. If you watch one of my previous videos, then you know those negative Neds, those negative Nancys, those dream busters, those dream killers, someone that is negative all the time, or anytime you mention another person's name, they have to say something negative. Anytime that you say that you're doing something positive, they either have to find something to one-up you with whatever they have going on, or they try to tell you that what you did, they try to minimize what you did. Then there's something that's not quite right about that relationship. You need to be mindful about who you're associating yourself with. Number 5, people that you associate with that are truly for you, they don't condone self-abuse. Okay? The amount of abuse that you tolerate in a relationship is completely up to you. But I want to say this, anybody that's okay with you down in yourself and they agree with you, you need to watch out for those people anyway. Man, I done lost a lot of weight. I think I done gained a lot of weight. I think I'm fat. Yeah, you are kind of fat. Or let's switch it. They get upset with you and now they feel like they have to come after you. The jabs just don't stop coming. Well, if it's someone that you are truly cool with, if it's somebody that really has your best interest at heart, even if they have the truth, They're not going to tell the truth in a hurtful manner. They're not going to turn on you because you're not following their instructions or doing the things the way that they want you to do them. Whenever you and a person are equally yoked, whenever you are supposed to be around each other, whenever that relationship is intentional, then they're not going to try to do anything that even appears to be an attack on you. Telling the truth isn't an attack, but being blatant and slanderous in what you're doing, that would be an attack. You have to be careful about surrounding yourself or associating yourself with those types of people. The next thing, if a person tries to make you feel physically or emotionally unattractive by coming at you saying things to try to get in your head in a negative way, trying to say things, calling you ugly, somebody telling you how bad you look, somebody just coming up with all different types of things to get in your head and make you look at yourself negative, understand, number one, it's because they have a personal problem. So don't ever take on whatever negativity they try to throw your way. Recognize that for what it is. That's someone that hasn't dealt with their own insecurities. So they transfer that negativity over to you to try to make you feel just as bad as they do. Because we know that birds of a feather flock together and misery loves company. So if I can make you feel just as bad as I do, then we can jive just fine. But if I feel that you look better than me, that you do this better than me, anything, then I'm going to sit there and I can't let that happen. So I got to do something to make you feel exactly how I feel. Now we're on the same page. And the last one. The people aren't there when you need them most. You have something going on in your family. You have something going on at your job. You just have things going on. You need someone that's there for you at that particular time. And no matter what you're going through, that person always makes it about themselves. You tell them this is going on. Oh, that's nothing. I got this going on. You tell them you have that going on. Oh, that's nothing. At least you got so-and-so. They are not there for you. When you have someone that takes your moment of hurt, your moment of weakness, and they make it about them, then these are people that you need to be careful about associating yourself with. So be careful about associating yourself with the wrong people, because this can lead to destruction, not self-destruction. Your destruction can be at the hands of someone that is supposed to be a so-called friend, a crony, an associate. So you really have to be careful with the people that you have in your circle. And then when we talk about that circle, we're going to go into something else that Bishop T.D. Jakes spoke on. And he said that it's imperative. It is imperative for you to embrace your individuality and not a herd mentality. Embrace your individuality and not a herd mentality. Now, let's be clear when we're talking about a herd. We're talking about the cliques, the teams, the gangs. It could be anything, traveling in packs. And this is one of the reasons why whenever we're having different discussions and things like that, and people are talking about team this and team that, I'll let you know quickly that I don't subscribe to any particular team. I'm Team God. That's the team that I'm on. So, and Team Justice, I'll take that team. But anything other than that, then I can't be responsible for any particular team that I don't have some degree of control over. And when I say control over, I don't mean control over other people. I mean control over myself and what I do, my actions. So if me participating in someone's team or in someone's herd results in me having to do what the herd is doing, and I'm unable to use my own thinking, my own common sense, then it no longer becomes a herd. To me, that becomes more of a following, or would come across more so as some type of an occult. And that's not something that I am interested in being a part of. So we're going to go into, again, individuality versus herd mentality. So what I've been seeing a lot of lately is this herd mentality. So we're seeing a lot of people feeling like things have to be done a certain way. Things have to be said a certain way. Certain people have to travel with certain packs. Certain people have to do whatever certain people tell them to do, whether they agree with what that thing is or not. That's herd mentality. Understand what I'm saying? So one of the things that Bishop T.D. Jakes touched on with this is with that herd mentality, you have to be careful. You have to be really careful. And he spoke about, well, I won't get into the biblical part of it, but he spoke about some things, that came from the Bible that show some problems with people following herds. So one of the things that he touched on in there, and that he said specifically that you guys just saw in this clip, is that following with the herd will get you killed. You understand? Following with the herd will get you killed. Following with a herd will get you hurt. Following with the herd will make you hurt people. Not because you're a bad person, but because your need to belong to that herd is so strong that you hurt people in the process. You lose all common sense because you're relying on the thinking or the control of that herd. And that's how a lot of people end up getting put in situations and they don't know how in the world they ended up in the place that they are now. So when I look at this, I really think about how things go in these social media streets, following the herd. So what I've been seeing, and I'm going to speak on my own personal experiences as it relates to this herd mentality. Why are you doing this? Why did you do this? This one said this, you should be doing this. This one is doing it this way, you should be doing that. I don't operate by the herd mentality. I operate by the individual mentality. And that's what I promote on this page, on this channel, on Carolina Diamond. Epiphany means that you had that moment, that aha moment. And it's not a group epiphany, it's an individual epiphany. That's your thought. That's that bright idea, that bright moment, that aha moment that you had. I could care less about what a group feels or what they came up with. A group is good, don't get me wrong, but the individual is just as important as the group. And it's the individual thoughts that makes a group successful, if that makes sense. So just trying to do something to conform to that of a herd, to the ways of a herd, to the thinking of a herd, doesn't make sense. Now, when he says that whenever you're in that herd and your sense of belonging, you want to belong so badly that you lose common sense, that's what I'm saying. Because a lot of things that are taking place, a lot of things that are happening right now, and things that have happened in the past, if you were thinking as an individual versus thinking as a herd, then the things that you were looking at, the things that the herd was even proposing, then you would look at that and say, that doesn't make a lick of sense. If you were thinking as an individual, then you would not only look at how things could affect you in the present, you look at how things can affect you in the future. When you're thinking as an individual, then you're able to see other individuals for who they are and for what they are. When you're thinking as an individual, then what someone else says has little to no effect on you because you have your own thinking. So if something comes across and it doesn't sound right, or if it doesn't sit well with your spirit, then it's something that you deal with internally. It's not something that you deal with necessarily with the group, because you don't need that group swaying your opinion one way or the other. This is something that you feel internally because it's your thought and it hasn't been influenced by someone else's positive or negative thoughts. It's based on what you feel. It's based on your own personal discernment. But that's hard to do when you have a herd mentality. When you have that herd mentality, it makes me think of, I would even say, Adolf Hitler. It makes me think of David Koresh. It makes me think of just different people. And you can use your ability to influence a herd for good or for evil. We'll say that. Because I would say some of the people that were following Dr. King, they could be considered a certain group of people that were following a herd. He used his teachings and his ability to get them to follow him, to get them to be affected by them or by him. He used that for good. When you have other people that just like the power that is associated with being able to lead people. If your desire to lead people is just an attempt to fulfill some type of void that you have, then you're not doing it in good faith. And you won't lead in good faith. Understanding that a leader is someone that can not only lead, but whenever it's necessary, the leader is able to follow. You have to be an individual thinker to understand what I just said. You have to be an individual thinker. When dealing with these herds that we're speaking on, we look at all the teams that we have out here now. The team feels like they have to function as a unit. But if that team has no official rules, no official laws to this thing, because even in a gang, they have laws, they have bylaws. At least they have something that they're supposed to be held to. They're supposed to be held to a certain standard. Now, the ones that end up going out on their own, they're handled differently whenever they come back to the group if they violated some of the laws or bylaws of that group. When we're putting all these groups and these herds together, and it could be a group of positive people, it can be a group of negative people, we have to be sure, number one, that everyone is on the same accord. Everyone has to be on the same accord, and whatever that thing is that is bringing you together, if it's not positive, then you need to be careful about associating yourself with certain groups, with certain individuals, because when people see you with those particular individuals, then they tend to associate whatever that person or that group does with what you're doing, even if you have nothing to do with what is actually going on. So you have to be careful, extremely careful, in protecting yourself whenever you're dealing with particular groups. Because once this group is gone on alone, just dead and gone, then you're still going to be there, and you're going to have to deal with certain things, and you still have to protect yourself. You have a reputation to protect. You have a career to protect. You have your family to protect. You have different things that you have to protect. So you have to make sure that you're not tying yourself to something that could potentially cause damage to you, potentially cause damage to your family, your livelihood, your wellness, anything that's involved. So you have to make sure that you are focused on an individual mentality versus a herd mentality. And I need to say this again. This doesn't mean that you can't operate with other people, because we know teamwork makes the dream work. But we're talking about teams that are officially being put in place to handle a specific thing. You have a mission. You have a goal. You have a purpose. Not just, we're going to go and do this and F anybody that gets in the way. No, that's not what I'm talking about. You have strategically sat down, thought about what you were going to do, put an action plan together, weigh the pros and the cons of everything that you're going to do, and you officially sit down and put these things together. That's not what I'm talking about. when you get together and you decide, okay, we're going to let this particular person lead us or this particular thing lead us, I call it drinking the Kool-Aid. Okay? And when you're in a place where you're drinking the Kool-Aid and you just have to believe everything that the group says or that an individual says, if you have to do everything that the individual does or that the group does, if you find yourself in a place where you're having to do things and they don't necessarily sit right with you or they don't necessarily go along with your character, and you find yourself acting out of character or what you consider to be out of character, then you have to ask yourself, am I thinking as an individual or am I allowing myself to think with the herd? Because if you make a decision as an individual, then you can stand on that decision. It has a basis to it. When you make a decision based on the herd, understanding that when you're dealing with the herd, then there are so many other elements that are involved in your decision making. You find yourself making decisions based on things that you don't have the complete facts on. You find yourself making decisions based on things that you don't necessarily agree with, but because you're a part of the herd, you have to get by to get by. So you will go along with that of the herd, even if it's something that you don't agree with. Following the herd will make you hurt people. I think that's one of the most powerful statements that he made in this lesson. Following the herd will make you hurt people. Now think about that. All the things that have been going on in the last few weeks, the last few months, actually, with people on different platforms, just people coming out saying any and everything to anybody, and they're following the pattern of a herd. You're talking about people's kids. You're talking about people's families. You're lying on people. You are looking for people's weaknesses and you're trying to play on those weaknesses. Your sole job with that herd is to have a place of belonging. Your sole job with that herd is to have some type of acceptance for you to get a job well done for your behaviors, even if those behaviors are not that of you and your beliefs. So you go out, and I would say you step outside of yourself, or at least you say that it's outside of yourself, and you hurt people that you wouldn't generally hurt because you want to belong to that herd. You do things to people that you wouldn't normally do. You say things to people that you wouldn't normally say. You respond to people in ways that you wouldn't normally respond because you are following the beliefs and the actions of that herd. When do you decide that it's time for me to start speaking as an individual? When do you decide that it's time for me to start speaking up for myself so that people will understand that I have plenty of common sense? I didn't let anybody take over my thoughts. I didn't let anyone take over my behaviors. I know exactly what I'm doing. I made a conscious decision to do whatever I'm doing, and my decision wasn't based on something that someone else told me to do. When do you stand up for yourself? When do you let people know that you have sense? This is the thing that bothers me in these social media streets. People are allowing other people to dictate everything that they do. And even in the midst, I'm going to say in some of the comments that I see, I can tell that there is a thin line. Like I see a bit of the common sense, but I also see where people can't let go of that common sense because they still want to be a part of the herd. And this is what DJ Knock, Block Bender, was speaking on the other night. You have people hopping over from place to place. And this is what I tell people on my channel and anywhere else. You can go and watch whoever you want to watch. I personally think the problem comes in at is when you say something over here, you say another thing over there, you say something over here based on the herd. So whatever the herd is in this particular place, whatever they're doing, whatever they're saying, then you put your 5 cents in and you conform to the actions of the herd. And we'll call this herd group A. When you go over to group B and the herd is responding in a specific type of way, then again, you conform to the beliefs and the actions of group B. Now you move from group A, conforming and doing things a certain type of way. You move to group B. Now you're doing a completely different type of thing, conforming. Your actions or beliefs are another type of way. And now you move on to group C. And group C is doing something different as well. So now you're going to conform and you're going to change your beliefs and your actions to conform and fit in to group C. In between you moving from A to B to C, you don't know who the freak you are. And nobody else knows who you are. People don't know how to take you because you have conformed to so many different things that you no longer seem like a conformer. You seem like a transformer, like a chameleon that fits in whatever situation that you happen to be in. And from day to day, no one knows what color you're going to be that day. No one knows what you're going to shift into. We call it a shift shaper. We don't know if you're going to be blue this day. We don't know if you're going to be green and shaped like a grasshopper. We don't know if you're going to be gray and shaped like an elephant because you're conforming to these herds. So Monday, you're a cow. Tuesday, you're chilling with the ducks and you're quacking. Wednesday, I won't even say. Wednesday, you're slithering around like some snakes on the highway. No one knows what direction to go in. And when you get caught up in so many things, then you lose yourself and you no longer recognize yourself as an individual. And that's where the problem with running with the herds becomes dangerous. You don't know who you are. You don't even know who the people are in the herds that you're traveling with because everyone is doing the same thing, running from pillar to post, and everyone is shifting. Everyone is shape-shifting. Everyone is conforming to who they need to be at that particular time. And you have no one that is thinking as an individual. That individual sees everything that's going on. That individual understands they can do all these things around me. But I have to remember and I have to be true to who I am. When you conform to certain herds, they don't want you to be an individual. They don't want you looking and saying, look, this doesn't make sense. They don't want you calling them out on their wrongs. The only thing that you can call them out on is a right and pat them on the back for doing a good job. But again, you're not being an individual when you do that. You're being a puppet. Running in herds. You think about the Lion King, and I love the Lion King. You had all these hyenas running all over the place, just storming. Some of them flipping all up in the air. They're running over each other. See, that's what happens when you run in a herd. You don't care who you trample over to get where you're trying to go. When you travel as an individual, and you happen to pick up different things along the way, meet different people along the way, then not only do you become more familiar with who you are, but you're giving yourself a chance and other people a chance to be more familiar with you, and you get to be more familiar with other people, other cultures, other dynamics that other groups have going on. You actually get to see what's going on. But as long as you're running around with that pack of hyenas, you can't see anything but the other hyenas in that pack. So if there's something else that could enlighten you, if there's something else that could give you that moment of epiphany, you're so covered up by the entanglements of the herd that you don't see the other things that are going on around you. Other things that could benefit you, other things that could benefit others around you. You're unable to see that because you are blocked by the beliefs and the actions of that herd. Following with a herd will get you killed. Following with a herd will leave you feeling like someone did you wrong when things don't work out the way that you think they're supposed to work out. Following with a herd will leave you feeling like you have to go and fight other people's battles. When you function as an individual, the only battle that you have to fight is yours. Or any other battle that you choose to fight that is something that is close to you, something that is personal to you. You don't have to randomly go and fight some battles that you don't necessarily agree with, battles that you don't necessarily know anything about. Traveling as a herd. But when we come forth as individuals, having our own thoughts, using our common sense, using the gift of discernment that each one of us have been so properly blessed with. When you use that individual mentality, you are a dangerous person. And understand that when you use that individual mentality, that herd sees you as a threat. You are an immediate threat to what that herd stands for, because you are not willing to conform. And if I can't convince you to conform, then that means that I can't control you. If I cannot control you, then you are a threat and you are definitely a problem for me. So I have to do whatever I need to do, even if that means hurt you, and get my herd to hurt you as well. Whatever I need to do to either get you to conform or get out the way and let my herd do what they do, I'm willing to do that. Because it's about control. Everything is about control. When you're an individual, your responsibility is about you controlling yourself. You don't care about what other people are doing. You are not trying to prove anything to a herd. The only thing that you're trying to prove something to, or the only one that you're trying to prove something to, is yourself. You are your own competition. Whatever other people do or don't do doesn't matter to you. You have too much going on in your own life. Too many things that you are trying to do productively that you don't have time to worry about what group A, B, or C are doing. You don't have time. And even if you do have time, you don't care about what those other groups are doing. That's individual thinking. Associating with the wrong crowd could lead to destruction. That's why it's imperative to embrace your individuality and not a herd mentality. This is where I'm going to end our Sunday table talk today. I hope that you guys got something out of this message. I hope that you guys understand the importance of individual thinking, of embracing an individual mentality. I hope you guys understand that there is so much going on and so many other things that we have to worry about in this world, that following up miscellaneous stuff on social media should be the least of your worries. Following up miscellaneous stuff in the world should be the least of your worries, because there are so many more important things that we can be working on. If we're going to team up for something, or if you're going to team up for something, make sure it's something that's going to add on to your legacy. Build something positive. So that day, whenever someone's reading your obituary, they have something positive to say about you and not have to make it up. Because you function as an individual. Associating with the wrong crowd could lead to destruction. Don't forget, if you haven't hit the like button already, hit that like button. hit that share button. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button and leave your comments below. Now, I'll see you next time. Bye.